Welcome back to Wizard Supercoach. Hope you're all having a good round 12 so far. Last night I had some pretty decent scores, I guess, but we're not here for that. I've found myself with a bit more time this week, which was good, and actually able to put some research into Supercoach. The last 6 weeks, I would say, I've just felt run off my feet, and really the only kind of things I got to do Supercoach related is like my weekly trades and just listen to a few podcasts in the car and stuff, so I felt a bit out the loop, but yeah, putting some time back into the research now, so thought I'd share some of that. So for those of you who've been subscribed to me since last year or early in the preseason or whatever, you might remember that I did some of these things. I don't know what you'd call them, some kind of graph. So it's defense versus position, and it's based on fantasy scores. So obviously fantasy is not Supercoach, but the correlation's close enough that it gives you an idea. Based on those scores for the, I think the season so far, it might be the last 10 weeks. The data's taken off DFS Australia. If you don't use it, go have a look. It's real handy. Now I think that they do the same thing on their page, but to be honest, I just can't wrap my head around the way that they present theirs. It's just, I don't know why, but for me, it's just too annoying to try and read and make sense of it. So I just make my own, and to me, it's a lot clearer. So obviously, people are wondering, like, with forwards, who to get in post buy. Now, I think there's obviously the 3 standouts, or maybe even 4, and then after that, it's going to be Pod City, I think. So if anyone's like me, my strategy was to just stay safe and go with what we know, and that was to finish my defense and midfield line first, unless anything obvious presented in the forward line. So I've done that, and now it's time to get forwards. I think I've got 4 to go, and the team is complete. So yeah, a bit of an odd strategy on that one, which well, not odd, but just, I guess, unpopular compared to what a lot of others are doing. I'll get to that later on after we look at these graphs, but these should help somewhat in looking at who you want to get post-buy, I think. I found them quite helpful at the start of the year. Other times there was things that just didn't add up, like, Tom Stewart had a plum run at the start of the year and he just didn't capitalise on it whatsoever. So, things like that happen, but as I always say, Supercoach is playing a probability, in my opinion, so that's what we do. So we'll start with the key forwards here. So the first one that stands out to me is Carlton. Now, obviously, that's Curnow or Mackay. So here, the post-buy run is pretty good. They've got, 3 of the easiest teams in the dark green. They've got 2 of the harder teams. I think you got to keep in mind as well that some players like Curnow, it doesn't really matter. I think, like, the good players are just going to play good. He seems to have a pretty good floor. Same as Mackay this year. So, I mean, either of them, if they're still going to get like a half decent score against these harder teams. If you have a look, it's these teams, like, they're averaging 6 to 8 points under average. So it's not like in the preseason how there was some teams, I think it was like they were giving up like 20 something points or something a game versus position. So yeah, my point is guys like Curnow and that are still going to score decent against these teams. It's not like they're absolutely restricting players down to nothing. So I wouldn't worry about that too much. When it's a good quality player, they'll still score. So I think Curnow is a good pick, or Mackay. I couldn't tell you which one I think will score more. It depends really. I think if Pitnet stays out of the team, Mackay gets more ruck time, plays further up the ground, then he might outscore Curnow. But if Pitnet comes back or whatever, and Mackay's not getting the ruck time and stuff, then I think Curnow will be the go. Either seem like a pretty good pick though. It's just when you jump on. But yeah, post-buy is looking good here. And so Geelong is another one where it looks like they got a pretty good run here post-buy. 2 of the easiest teams and only one of the hard ones. Again, we're dealing with Jeremy Cameron here. If there's any interest in him, if this helps you out. But yeah, he's another one who he can easily score against any team. So it doesn't really matter for him. I wouldn't be scared off by one red square there. But apart from that game, it's a pretty easy run by the look of it. So yeah, Cameron is really a gamble though. I think he's one with a really low floor, but he's also got that super high ceiling as well. It's just a matter of if you think we're going to see that again anytime soon. The Giants have a pretty good post-buy run, although you may want to wait, so at least until round 16. So rounds 14 and 15 aren't too inviting, and then after that, so maybe if you wanted to look at, say, Hogan as your D6 or F6 or something like that, even F7 for those who are trying to go with the extra primo. Probably, yeah, round 16 or after that would be a good time, because you really want to get on this run here from round 17 to 24. It's pretty damn good. Again, it's just whether you trust a key forward. I mean, we're not exactly spoilt for choice this year, but what can you do? The other one's North Melbourne. So I haven't highlighted the whole thing here because they come up against two real hard teams. The only problem is Larky is the only, real key forward. And even in the years like last year where he was scoring, what did he get, like 70 odd goals? He still didn't score in Supercoach very well at all. So I don't think I'd touch that. But, if you want to take an absolute gamble and go for the pot, I guess this finish here, so round 19 onwards, is pretty damn good. But yeah, I wouldn't be going there. I think it's too high of a risk. The other one here as well is Hawthorn. They got a pretty decent run. I haven't even highlighted it, but post-buy, they got three easy teams, one hard one. The only problem is they don't really have any key forwards that are Supercoach relevant whatsoever. Like, I wouldn't be putting any money into Chol, or Mitch Lewis is always injured, so what else do they even got? I don't know. Kausha Deer, again, I wouldn't be putting any faith there, although he looks like he's going to be pretty good in the future. So the last one here is West Coast. Now this one I actually quite like. So they got a decent couple of games coming up. They don't play any of the hard teams in the run home at all, which is crazy. But post-buy here, it looks really good. There's only one of the real easy teams, but plenty of green there, which is what we want to see. And in the case of Waterman, he's shown that he can do it against these, orange and green teams. So yeah, his past, 5 or 6 weeks has been huge. I know that he was really quiet against the Crom, but the ball just wasn't going down there. And I think the Eagles have shown enough to suggest that that's not going to happen most weeks. So yeah, I'm pretty tempted to go Waterman as F6 myself, but I guess we'll just see. Again, I'll stick with the same strategy that I used to fill out the midfield and defence. Just keep filling up on the players that we know, and then once I have to take a gamble, once I'm forced into it, then I'll do it. So yeah, that's about it here, I think. Move on to the general forwards. This worries me a bit here, so I'm absolutely sold on, on getting Rankin post-buy, but that's a pretty barren run coming home. They got two of the hard teams, mostly orange, two of the green teams, so I don't know about that. I guess it's whether you have faith that Rankin is as elite as he, has been appearing this year. I think he is, actually. I think he'll score no matter what. He's leading goal kicker this year for the Crom. I'm still happy to get him. It's just a little bit off-putting seeing that. Although, cream rises to the top. Collingwood have got the nice run here, post-buy for the general forwards. The only problem is, who would you choose? There's not really anyone there that I would bother with. Might be good for the rookies though, if you're going to hold on to like Richards and I forget his name, the other one up forward. Schultz might have been a half decent option, but I don't know what's gone on with him this year. He's completely fallen in a hole. Maybe he hasn't worked out the Collingwood system yet, or maybe it's just a matter of all the injuries and he's having to play all over the place. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know for Collingwood who I'd bother going with there. Same with Fremantles. They got a nice run post-buy. They end on the hard one, but that's alright. Up until there, it's pretty good. again, who would you even choose as a medium forward, or a general forward, I should say, from Fremantle? If anyone has any ideas of like Collingwood or Fremantle general forwards that are relevant, put it in the comments, because I'd like to hear, but I can't think of anyone off the top of my head. So Hawthorn, they got a pretty good run post-bye. Dylan Moore's the obvious one there. He's fairly inconsistent. He's a great player, but it's more just to do whatever role he's given that week. He's kind of like a Mr. Fix-It, I guess, in the front half, wherever he is. I think there's better options than Moore, though. I mean, you got to remember that when you're looking at these bottom teams, even a light green team is still going to be a hard matchup for them. So, yeah, just keep that in mind, I guess. Hawthorn are up and down. So, yeah, exactly that example. North Melbourne here. Really good post-bye run. Don't encounter any of the three hard teams of Brisbane, Fremantle, or the Power. And they got two of the other easy teams here. So, again, in the case of North Melbourne, who is relevant? Probably no one. So this is disappointing, because a lot of these good runs are happening to the teams that don't have the really relevant players to pick from. But I guess it gives you the opportunity for like a super pod that no one's going to pick. It's just a matter of, how brave are you? I guess that's how you win Supercoach. But yeah, it's not worth being stupid just for the sake of trying to be brave. So the Bulldogs, same case. I can't really see a standout that might benefit from this, but they've got the good run there. For people that have Riley Garcia, I've got him. Might be good for him if you plan on holding him post-bye. What's his name? Is it Fraser or Freya or whatever? Yeah, that new guy. Him as well. Players like that, it should benefit a little bit, but yeah, it depends if you're going to hold them post-bye or not. So now, move on to, this is the last graph, the designated kicker position. So you might wonder why I've grouped this with the forwards. Well, it's pretty obvious, really. Quite a few of the best options in the forward line for Supercoach are actually playing defence. So this is a good one here, right? Post-bye, Brisbane, Zorko. It's got the hard round 13 match up there, but as long as you get him, I think, for round 14, which I'm pretty sure is against Richmond. It's either Richmond or St Kilda, and they give up huge scores. Yeah, it's almost 10 points each. That's also dependent on the player. I think the better the player, the more that multiplies. So yeah, Zorko should definitely be in your plans, because him, Flanders, and Heaney are the three standouts. By average, Collingwood here, not even sure who their designated kicker would be now that Dacos is playing so much midfield time. But yeah, they've got a good run, so I'd keep an eye on that one. None of the hard teams, so that's nice. Essendon as well, got a very similar run there to Collingwood. Nick Martin might get pushed up the ground, though, from here on with Ridley back. He's now competing with McGrath, Ridley, and Redman. So, yeah, you can't have all of them, because you need to have some actual defensive defenders. Yeah, not sure what to do there. I think that's more a case of personnel than the run. Just wait and see if Martin holds that role. But if he does, then that's a real nice run for him. And then North Melbourne, so Zach Fisher, who I may be getting in this week, I'm not sure. But yeah, post-bye run, really nice. And you're probably thinking, what the hell are you doing getting him in this week? They have the bye. I'll explain my trades in a second after this. We'll have a look at the team, and it'll make more sense then. For anyone that watched the last video, you'll have seen. But yeah, I'll run through my trades. So yeah, this is good for Fisher. It's just, again, a little bit like Essendon. It's a matter of if you think that he can keep that up with McKercher back in the side. So a bit of competition, mouths to feed. I don't think Sheasel will go back there now, but who knows with Clarko. He's really in experimental mode by the look of it, which scares the hell out of me. But, he's got to do what he's got to do. Clearly, the guy knows what he's doing. You don't win 4 premierships by accident. All right, so yeah, we'll have a look at the team now because I don't think there's anything else on here that's too standout. Maybe the Fremantle run's not bad post-bye, round 15 onwards. Maybe if you're thinking of going for Clark, everyone should have Ryan by now. Yeah, all right, let's look at the team. Right, so not much has changed. I haven't done too much here yet. So Sweet is gone, and I've put Livingston back to R3, which feels really nice because I felt like he was really burning a hole in that forward bench spot. So Sweet went for Fraser or Freya or whatever his name is. Again, I don't know what to call him. Tell me in the comments how you pronounce that name if anyone actually knows, because it's pissing me off. I've heard all kinds of people on YouTube have a different opinion on how it's said. I don't want to embarrass myself. So I'm thinking, because Will Graham's playing now. We just had that confirmed, so that's good. He's a sub-risk, definitely, but with a break-even of 16, it doesn't really matter. He shouldn't lose any money, even if he is the sub. Should tackle his way to a half-decent score, even if it's just for a quarter or whatever. So I've got currently 1, 2, 3, 4. Got 21 on field. So it's definitely going to allow me to do what I wanted to do regarding the unpopular trade. So I think Darcy's going to go. So let's see if this lines up. So I've already got the money from the sweet one. Let me change that. Move this up. So I got 512k to play with here. I think I will make the 3 trades. Maybe Darcy out. We get Zorko in this week. And then what can I do here? If I get Dawson, turn that off so I can actually see the prices. Can I do that? No. It's not going to give me enough. I did work this out before. I just can't remember what I did. Maybe I had Graham going, but I can't do that now. So maybe what I do is instead of Zorko, because it doesn't matter really what order I get them in. I think if I go Fisher instead, because I definitely want to get him. Actually, I wouldn't even say definitely, but they're the 2 that I'm after. Yeah, so Fisher in, and then maybe Jones out. Or even Garcia. Get rid of Jones for now. Garcia could come back. St Kilda's pretty trash, so who knows when Ross is going to decide to play the kids again. So that gives me 83k for next week. I've just realised as well, sorry, that the screen is all messed up, so that's really bad by me here. Yeah, so the idea is that Fisher and Dawson will cover future buys. I got 21 this week, so I can get away with it. Darcy going out puts me down to 20 on the field, which I can easily get by on. That's completely fine. And then that means I got 2 more players for the whole rest of the for the buys to cover. So if I do that, now let's see what it looks like. Just bear with me. So next round we'll have 1, 2, 3, maybe 4. Green back in's 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 if Dawson plays. And I plan on making trades, obviously. So Zorko will come in, so that will put me up to 19. Plus maybe, I don't know, McMullen or one of those. So again, we'll be up to like 20. Or around the 20 mark for round 13. Round 14 is 5. 20 again. Again, I plan on doing trades. Round 15's the hard one, but by then, yeah, we'll be traded into a place where it's not going to hurt. So yep, so about 16 there, but with the trades to come in, it should end up being like 20 at least. So yeah, with that in mind, I hope that the Fisher and Dawson thing doesn't seem so crazy now. The Dawson as well, I plan on, well, Graham will go out sometime soon, just not this week. But yeah, Dawson will end up in defence, so that I've got the Fisher and Dawson DPP switch if I need to use it. I hope Zach Reed comes back soon as well. But yeah, that's the method behind the madness. And as you can see there, I'm covered for every buy as it stands. So this is where I'm hoping to make my move and make up ground. So hopefully you got something out of this video with the graphs and stuff. Sorry that the screen's stuffed up, and that's my fault that I didn't change the screen size as I went. But yeah, again, hope you got something out of it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Good luck with this round. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments, because it'd be nice to hear from people. Hit subscribe, all that stuff. Don't want to feel like I'm wasting my time. But yeah, thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.